Hey, up next, our guest teaches me how to eat nutritionally, and she might be able to help you too. Usually I'm in front of this lady at her desk, but today she's in front of me. It is my nutritionist, and her name is Michelle Blum. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, Nutrish Mish. I have been having so much fun sitting across the table from you, and you're teaching me about not just weight loss, but about nutrition.
Yes.
Tell us about your company. How did this start for you, Michelle?
So my company's name is Nutrish Mish, and growing up, I saw in my family constant dieting. So there's this whole dieting cycle, where you go on the diet, you lose the weight, and then you just go off it, you gain it back. And I just saw that growing up, and I saw it impact self-esteem and people's relationship with food. And I thought, there's got to be a better way of doing this. So I was always passionate about nutrition growing up, and when I was in college, I was hired actually when I graduated to design a nutrition program for a health and wellness company. And from there, I started doing my own thing on the side. And because our approach was so different, and because we were actually kind of fixing the problem and getting people to have a good relationship with food, it kind of took off from there.
So Nutrish Mish started with that. So
Yes.
now you've got this great logo, you've got this great company.
Yes.
So tell us behind the brand, because you branded this
Yes.
on your own. Okay.
So yeah, I was very lucky. I had a friend who owned a gym, and I said to him, I was just graduated college. I was like, hey, listen, is it possible if I could borrow your women's locker room, and can I see people out of your women's locker room? And he was like, sure, that's weird, but go for it. And like I said, because our approach was so different, people really responded to it. I think it's the change that people were looking for. So often right now, the answer we have is dieting, and people don't have great success long term with diet. So Nutrish Mish, the way it's designed, the program, it's the answer to that. And I think so many people it resonates with. So it's turned into this whole fun brand that's just synonymous with healthy habits and a lifestyle change.
And you've made it so great and so complete for me. And what I like about it is, okay, so I'm just going to show the audience. This is my binder. It's like my success binder. And I know that I've talked about weight loss on the show before, and you've seen me gain the pounds, lose the pounds, gain the pounds, lose the pounds. But what I've learned differently about working with Michelle is the fact of nutrition, and it makes a huge difference, and she makes it really fun. So you've got like these great recipes. Each week you're telling me to fill out my food diary. I'm responsible to write down every single thing I eat. But it's not just what you eat, it's in the combination. So can you talk about that for the audience to help them also learn something today?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's so many aspects of nutrition, and when you go on any kind of weight loss program, they focus on one of them. But in reality, there's so many aspects, and the aspect you're talking about in particular is structure. So, and that's a piece of it. So it's the protein carb fat ratio, it's your timing of meals, and a big mistake people make in general that I see is, calories, for example, are not a bad thing, right? Calories are just a way of measuring energy. So if we're talking about calories and energy meaning the same thing, it's not as important as eating less calories or less energy, but are you getting the calories or the energy that you need when you need it, which would be beginning and middle of the day. So often people, give themselves too much energy at night. So you're giving your body all this energy at the end of the day to do all this stuff, and then your body's like,
what do I do with it? I'm just going to turn into fat.
It gets stored. Right. So I take some people's food journals and I flip them upside down sometimes, and I'm like, if you did this, you'd be just fine, So there's so much more that goes into it than just, calorie restriction and deprivation and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's really about being kind to yourself.
Yes, that's a huge part of it. I think women in particular are so hard on themselves with food and nutrition, and it's frustrating because if you've gone through the dieting cycle your whole life of gaining and losing and gaining and losing, who wouldn't be frustrated? But what we do is we really want to change people's relationship with food, and we are able to do that with our process at this point. And it's so rewarding, and you get to just see so many people not only change physically with their health, but the emotional response. So people
You've had some nice success stories.
Yes.
Success stories that make you cry, and I know that's really why you do what you do, because you cry tears of joy.
Absolutely.
So tell us share one story that really impacted you, that made you feel happy that you're doing what you do.
Yeah. So the most recent one I could think of, just because she was actually a guest on our weekly podcast that we have. Her name is Tracy. Her mom was actually a client of ours for years, and she was super successful, lost a lot of weight. And Tracy was that chronic dieter, a lifelong battle. And, on our podcast, she had told me of an incident that happened when she was 7 or 8 where someone had commented on her weight. And to remember it that young, like how impactful must that have been? I don't remember nothing from when I was that young. So, to watch her really kind of just shift her attitudes towards food and change the way that she thinks about it, the way that we look at nutrition, it's the tools that your body needs to make you the right way. So when you give your body the right tools, you get made correctly, and when you don't, you don't. And a symptom of that is weight loss. It's not a problem in and of itself, or high cholesterol or high blood pressure. And when she started to look at it that way, you could just see everything shift. And she started, not using food as a, vice so much, as a comfort. She found replacements for that. So whereas, she would have a bad day or she'd be stressed and she would just automatically go for the food, it took time, but at this point, that's not a response that she has anymore. And that is possible. And that's something I'd love to get across to your viewers, that it is possible.
And that's the week that I'm on, which is next week.
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
About emotional eating, because when I first came to you, I said, oh, I don't do that. I don't eat related to my emotion. And then sure enough, by just writing things down, I was really present to that.
Yes.
I was like, oh, I was feeling lonely, so I went this. I was disappointed about this, so I decided to go out and have a glass of wine, which I don't even drink, right? So I'm like, so it's those triggers, finding out what's triggering you. And also planning ahead.
Yes.
And I used to do that growing up. We used to have a menu. Monday we did one thing, Tuesday we had another thing, and it was always balanced. So thank you very much, joyfully, for coming on the show.
Of course.
Because I'm learning a lot. I'm having a really great time. And like you said, people can just go to your website and get help wherever they are across the globe.
Yeah, we have our virtual concierge program. So we started off with everyone just coming in office, but we have our whole program online now. So now we can help people all over the country. So we have people in Vegas and California and Florida, and it's just, the impact's been amazing. It's a really cool thing.
Well, congratulations on all your
Thank
success.
you.
And you do have a very personal, strong why. You had family members that had diabetes. You had a lot of scary things growing up, and now you're making a difference for everybody. So congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
Yay, go entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So if you have an idea for a business, you have a passion, you have a why, just follow it. You've got it. You can do it. I believe in you. Thanks for watching. Live it up.